Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of Geeky Bros Podcast. I am just Darcy.
And this is Big Geek Umar. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. End of a long week. I'm just glad to slide into a long weekend here in Canada and then maybe watch a movie if I'm lucky this weekend. Probably not, though. I'm probably not that lucky.
It's the long weekend, though.
Yeah, I know, but life ain't like work like that sometimes.
That's fair. Those are facts.
How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right. I'm looking forward to the long weekend and also trying to catch a movie tonight, which would be Inside Out 2. And also, I saw A Quiet Place day one last night. So I'm catching up on my movies this week. For those of you who don't know, and I'll just like quickly like slide this in as an agenda item. Uh, Spoiler free Quiet Place day one review. It is good. I wouldn't say the story has anything new to tell us in terms of like the aliens and everything that happened. However, it still does another like I found this to be a very powerful emotional film because it is about it's like an very human story.
Mm.
It's focuses on one person. It follows Lupita Nyong'o is fantastic, and then eventually she comes across Joseph Quinn, who is also a great actor. The two of them really, really. There's no bad actors in this movie,
Yeah.
and this movie is another example of show don't tell.
I mean,
And
the series has been that way.
exactly. And the series continues to do great performances and telling very beautiful emotional stories in the human element. So like if you go and also as you know me, I hate the horror.
That's
And they definitely brought that into this one and I was like there were a couple things I'm like you son of a bitch. But
how it works.
it was still I was definitely freaked out a couple times, definitely had a nightmare last night. But beautiful story. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds dope. And you made a comment about it doesn't tell you a lot more about the aliens. Telling you a lot more about the aliens would ruin the movie. It would ruin the franchise because you you don't have as much fear in them if you completely understand them, right? Because then you're like, well, why don't you just do this? If the audience is like always unsure of how much they're capable of, even though we know what we do know, if they reveal any new information about them, it should only increase the risk, right? It's like, oh, we didn't know. It's like, oh, this can hurt them, but it also means they have all these other capabilities. Right? It's like it should always come as a double-edged sword with one sharp side and one, very
I
little
was
benefit.
okay, I should clarify. Uh I was expecting us to see how everyone learned about them, like about having to be quiet.
Mm. We don't get
And
that part of the
also,
story.
no, actually, because Lupita Nyong'o, she gets knocked unconscious during the attack, during the initial attack. So she wakes up. I'm sorry, this is a little spoilery. She wakes up and everyone's telling her to be quiet.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So that was the one. That's like the one thing that I wish those like because I would have liked to see how in the massive like how quick humanity has to adapt in a apocalyptic situation.
You know what though? Like the people who probably figured that out got eradicated too fast, right? And so you end up in the situation. It's kind of like Walking Dead, where you walk up as Rick Grimes, and you're just like, "There's zombies," and you're like,
Yeah,
"Let's explore it
honestly,
this way."
ultimately, that was just like something I would have liked to see. I still thoroughly enjoy the movie. I was all in with the acting. Like the acting, like if like you could turn this movie into a stage play and it would still be fucking amazing given how they did it.
Hmm. Well put. Well put. Yeah. I feel like that part where you said like the you want to see where they learn. I think that could be the next film, but I think it should be even more. It's like when they learn it, it's not. it's not a magical reveal of information. It's like just pure mayhem. And
That
then
yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen.
and
This
it's like
didn't happen, I don't care.
and it's like it's gonna be something of coincidence, right?
Mm.
Like it's gonna be something like um somebody happens to be in a room or something that's like doesn't make a lot of noise, and they just get avoided, and then someone's like just intelligent enough to see it and then go, and then it's just like great, but it's still horrible. It's like World War Z. It's like we figured one thing out. It's not doing a lot for us, but we figured it out.
Yeah. I would say that like anyway, I would say that it's very much worth watching in theaters because you go back to the situation of when everyone's quiet, you take that, you eat that nacho, everyone's gonna be like,
Yeah.
in fact, actually, I think one of my friends said that they heard someone say no when someone took a bite because they were like just so into this what was happening on screen that they actually thought that like it was going to get like it was what happened, but it actually turned out to be like in the audience, so like it was funny.
Nice. And
So
the movie's
anyway,
doing well on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, 84.
nice, awesome. So yes, check out A Quiet Place day one. It's definitely worth your time. Now, moving on to something to our main event. However, I will say that our main discussion about Batman v Cyclops, aka the title of our podcast today, we're going to get to that a little bit later. A couple of new items came up, so we wanted to like just get those out of the way and discuss them a little bit, and then we're going to go into our discussion. So, Elliot, we'll get to that, and I'll go over the like potential rules about like who's going to win in Batman v Superman. For those of you who are watching us that aren't live, feel free to check the descriptions. We have our timestamps for all the topics that we have for today's episode. So just click the one that you want to go directly to. Sorry, Elliot. So going to our first official topic, Batman the Caped Crusader. Now, we've been hearing a lot of stuff about this upcoming animated series for a good while now. It's meant to, it has a premiere date now coming out on August 1st. And we have discussed on previous podcasts about how we are, losing some, how we have Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, and Bruce Timm, all as executive producers. And we had heard that the late Kevin Conroy had like voiced some stuff before his passing. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be doing anything with that information, or they might. Who knows? But nonetheless, the trailer for the Batman Caped Crusader was released this past week, and y'all know we got to talk about that. So, Darcy, having seen the trailer now, and also based off all the stuff that we talked about in the past, what is your thoughts of the trailer? What are your thoughts of the animated series so far, in terms of like your anticipation, and also what the voice acting?
Yeah, so I was watching the trailer. I was prepping the show, so I will say that I listened a little bit more than I watched at certain points. That being said, I'm actually hyped for this. The tone, even the old timey stuff that wasn't sitting with me before, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Like it's just there's something about it that it feels like an adult version of Batman the Animated Series, but set in a different time frame with a little bit more mobster, like 1920s mobster vibe happening, which I didn't think I'd like, but I like. It kind of feels to me like what we're feeling off of this Penguin trailer, in a way, right?
Okay.
Like,
I see that.
Where it's like we're gonna explore Gotham through the mobster view before we get back to the rest of the what's happening with Batman, like in Matt Reeves' incarnation and universe he's setting up. And I'm not saying it's like that, but it's just like it felt like wow, another serious tone, another darker way to explore this, to make these villains and crimes made me feel more serious, and feel like a really good murder mystery, mobster murder mystery vibe happening. And as much as when I first saw the first maybe animation or drawings, I was like, I don't know, 100%. But now it's settled in for me because I don't know. It feels like a lot of what I'm used to, but
Mhm.
slightly adjusted. It kind of feels like the original animated series, and then some of that recent movies they did where they try to look old timey with like the Justice Society, and that I didn't really feel that, but it felt like someone took notes from that and said, okay, we're gonna keep a little bit of that, but like we're not really gonna like we're gonna go like 65% the old
I hear you
animated
on that.
series,
Yeah.
35 this Justice Society, and I didn't see anything that made me go like, "No, I don't want to watch this." Like I saw it, I'm like, "Yo, I want to watch this." Like this intrigues me, and so I'm in, and I'm just expecting that the storytelling to be like a more, instead of being episodic like the animated series, to be more of like a long-term drama, and to be uncovering like a bigger mystery with uncovering all the layers along the way and us learning this version of Gotham,
Yeah.
and that it should be serious toned, and I hope that there's like even like pushing towards to like really adult, like we don't got maybe see things, but like when certain scenes happen, I'm hoping it's like, oh, this ain't for kids, this ain't for kids, this is not that show. And so yeah, I'm interested and I want to watch this. And right now, like, the based on what a vibe I'm seeing, I'm feeling like this might be like a, like an 8.5 to out of 10 kind of vibe. If like in like anticipation of what it's setting me up for, doesn't mean I think it will be. Like I'm guaranteeing or anything like that. But that's kind of the vibe it's giving me.
What are your thoughts on the voice acting? Because you said you listened more than you saw. So
None of it really bothered me.
okay,
Like I was just like straight like certain scenes I was listening, and I gotta say I like the voice of Batman. I think it
interesting.
it worked for me. Like
Okay,
like I'm not like we can all be out here and being all mad that we can't, it's not Kevin Conroy, but like
that
what's that gonna do for us?
yeah,
Like
no, like that has to be taken off the table. He is the king. He
yeah,
will always be the king.
yeah,
You can't replace.
yeah, you can't replace and whatnot, but like I thought that like again because we're doing this old timey thing, then there's like some different nuance to the voice that I felt like worked for me, right?
Gotcha.
Because I feel like if you're anticipating the voice to sound a certain way and you're thinking about something of how you think about Batman now, don't forget this is like way like old timey. So there's like a slight nuance in the way that he would speak that would be different
Yeah.
and how people would speak. And so, yeah, like nothing that I saw or was listening to made me go like, ooh, like I
Okay.
was like, I was listening and I was like, yo, this is like animated Matt Reeves like vibe-ish for me, right? And I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. Like, when's the first episode roll? That was my energy.
Nice. Okay, so just some piece of information before I give my information. My
You're gonna tell
response.
me everything that I'm hoping for is already confirmed, not happening, and then and then you're gonna tell me what you want to tell me.
No, no, no. I'm just gonna give out the names of like the actors. So like Hamish Linklater is going to be playing Bruce Wayne Batman. Christina Ricci is going to be playing Selena Kyle Catwoman. Jamie Chung is going to play Dr. Harleen Quinzel / Harley Quinn, and Diedrich Bader is going to play Harvey Dent and Two Face. So like these are, in my opinion, good actors to have for voice acting. I like all of the actors. I've seen them in a whole bunch of different things. So now goes to my response. I will say that I was not disappointed by the trailer. I just wasn't excited by the trailer. I was not that it was a meh. It just was like just like a steady stream. Um I was kind of hoping to be a little bit excited like you are. I'm actually a little I'm kind of like sad that I wasn't. Um it's possible that like my expectations were higher than yours. And that's why like the trailer didn't like reach meet or like excite me anymore. I will say that so just firstly, the voice acting wasn't terrible, wasn't bad. It just wasn't something that made me go, ooh. Instead, I was just like, just bobbing my head, just going along with it. Not really, I wouldn't say I connected, but again, it's a trailer. How am I going to be like connected to anything? So that's where the show hopefully will come in. I completely agree with you when you said about the animation style, like 100%. Like your description of how like, because like I think it was like season 1 of Justice League, the animated series, where they did do the Justice League Society. This animation is between that and a little bit of like what they've been doing in the modern animated stuff. So I will agree that the animation by far is the least interesting, revolutionary for me. But at the same time, we've been seeing these images for a while now. I'm not surprised that I'm not inspired by the animation. But at the same time, as the story is good, this like if the story is as good as you and I are hoping, and if it's doing the Matt Reeves version of storytelling, I will think that this animated show will be good enough for me. The animation will be good enough to keep the story going for me that I will be into it. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like, let's see how this does. But I'm not excited as I thought I would be. Like you, I'm actually super envious of you, bro. Like you got the excitement that I was hoping for.
So I was like watching it again in the background while you was hating on it. Oh, that
I
was my.
wasn't hating.
Oh, please, that was all kinds of hate. Let's be honest here. So, no, I was rewatching because I want to get a feel for some things that, like, while you're saying it and just like seeing it and whatnot, and like I feel like one thing that really really helped me in this was like the music in the trailer. The music in the trailer really like
The
captured
music
me.
was dope.
And it really like set a tone for me. And so hopefully I'm not overly persuaded by the music, only to come find like I don't really like the vibe. But I was actually like paying attention to some of these visuals, and I'm watching it right now on mute so that like I can talk. And like I'm noticing things like he found like 2 dead people under a building, and just like you were actually animating them dead. Like they weren't doing blood and gore. It's not like the boys or anything, but he was like their eyes are all like twisted and stuff like that. And then like there's people like losing their skin and stuff like that. And they're doing a pretty like it feels like
Adult.
it's more on the edge than the original, but yeah, I'm watching it and I'm like, yo, this looks good. And then like there's stuff where like they're making Batman, like the eyes in the dark and stuff like that, where he's always had that kind of like in the animated the original animated series, he always had that like ominous presence, but it was ominous in a way that as a kid I looked at it like, that's so cool, right? And with this one I'm seeing it like I see how people would be afraid of you.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah.
And
It's messed up.
and yeah, and that's like on the edge. And I also noticed it's Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams as executive producers. So that's dope. That's dope. So hopefully that turns out to be good things. But yeah, overall, I'm still in I'm still in my vibe. So you didn't you couldn't bring me all the way down, Umar.
I wasn't trying to. I was saying that I envy yours. I want to be on your high.
And smoke the right stuff. I don't know. I don't know what you smoking, bro.
All right, moving on to our next topic. So we were gifted this week with a lot, and I mean a lot of set photos from the upcoming DCU James Gunn directed Superman movie. I don't think it's going to be called Superman Legacy anymore, but Superman Legacy is what we were calling it up until now. I think they're just going to call it Superman, which cool. Anyway, so we were gifted with a first look at most of the cast, but we got to see what Superman, specifically Superman and Mr. Terrific, what their costumes look like. Now, we have Superman, who is being played by the new David Cornsweet. I hope I said his name right. And we have Mr. Terrific, who's being played by Eddie Gathigi.
I don't
Who
think you said that one right.
I definitely know I didn't. But they are Eddie was Darwin in X-Men First Class. So hopefully they don't do him dirty in this movie the way they did in that one.
Oh Lord,
And
that was so. It's like,
it
oh,
made no
the man
sense.
that can adapt to anything except for this plot.
Yeah, this is a guy who couldn't his body made him teleport away when he fought the Hulk. That's how he adapted to survive fighting the Hulk.
Yeah, he just couldn't unwrite the script.
Anyway, so Mr. Terrific and Superman. Darcy. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go first. Oh, yes. Also, we got to see Lois Lane in costume, which is playing by Rachel Brosnahan. Also, there are a few set photos of Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult.
I don't have those photos. You set me up for failure.
my fault. Also, because I don't think those are good photos, because he's essentially in a hoodie with like bruises and blood on his face. That's not Lex Luthor. This is Nicholas. For all we know, Nicholas Hoult was like walking to a set, got punched in the face, and that's it.
Or he just put a hoodie on between takes, which is probably the most likely thing here.
I'm just saying the reason why it's not on screen is because I don't consider those to be a proper Lex Luthor look. Anyway, we got our look at David Cornsweet in the Superman outfit. I will say that while and also Perry White. I forgot the actor's name right now. He was in Suits.
Yeah.
Anyway, Superman. I am not again. I love the color. The color that they have, dope. The cape, the fact that they have the S on the back, classic look. Respect that. Outfit kind of looks a bit big on him, but at the same time, I bet you they're going to do like some like graphics at the end. Oh yeah, this is actually a really good shot. It's like a new look at Gabriel. Yeah, so they're showcasing Superman saving a train, similar to a classic Superman saving a train, stopping a train from hitting a child. All these make me think James Gunn is on the right foot. It's on the right foot. The fact that I personally feel that the suit looks a bit big on David Cornsweet is not in any way meant to say that like they're not doing their job right. To be honest, for all we know, they could just fix that in VFX later, and that's like the whole point of it. Or it's just that we're not really seeing the full extent of what's going on. These are like he's in between takes. Like we're probably not even seeing him properly stand up properly. I like Maybot's comment being like, "Yes, definitely got punched randomly walking down the street."
Yeah, that's because that's Umar trying to create rumors out here.
Everyone's like, "Yo, did you hear that Nicholas Hoult got punched in the face for being Lex Luthor?" Anyway, so Darcy, I think Mr. Terrific looks perfect. I like most of the look of Superman, but just feel like the costume's just a little too big on him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I can't deny that the suit is a half size too large, but again, if that's how they want to spend their VFX budget, fixing the suit, that's up to them, because maybe it's about keeping the acting from being restricted, like the physical acting from being restricted, and then fixing the CGI, then having a like less fluid acting and like less natural, and then you're just like too rigid, like don't get me wrong, like one of the best visual portrayals of Superman fighting would be on the Zack Snyder side in terms of like dope action, and he never felt stiff, right? But but what if this Superman is meant to feel even more fluid, faster, stuff like that, right? Like, that instead of being so heavy, and maybe they don't want him to look super heavy. Or, as I'm saying this, and I already had a thought earlier on this, and I'm blending two thoughts together. I've also thought that that the way the story might be told is that, Martha, his mom, put the suit together. And
Right.
if that's part of the storytelling, then it would be a matter of what she could make. And if you look at like the way some of the elements, it's really well done, but maybe it's kind of off the same inspiration as the Flash from Zack Snyder's, where he used the pieces he could from like space
Hmm.
shells to put together, and so it's a little bit like hodgepodgey. In this case, it's
Right.
better. There's mother's love in there and time spent on that sewing machine, but maybe there's like some difficulty there. Or even still, maybe he's supposed to be in the beginning of the film, and the beginning of the film, maybe there's like a time period, and he's supposed to look smaller and he's gonna look bigger, and like that's maybe some kind of play. So to make him look smaller, you just physically put more clothes, like bigger clothes, and then you shrink the clothes, and then all of a sudden he looks more jacked. Like there could be elements here as to it could be really intentional and story driven as well, not just fixing it in post, right? So let's not hate and wait to see what happens, because I mean the man looked like Superman, okay? He looked like a Superman, and he looked like a young, like, take 95 women out to a date back to back kind of Superman too. He might be this shot right here, he might be one of the better looking Superman that there has been. So give him a chance is all I'm saying. Yeah, you have a quote?
I was actually going to put up what Maybot said. She's like, what you're saying is that the image might not be print to media, but a random photo. That's actually not a bad call.
Yeah, I mean, however, that first release that James Gunn put out, it looked the same, and like that was purposeful. So I won't be surprised if it's narrative.
Mm.
I won't be
I gotta
surprised if
say,
it's
okay,
narrative.
I love like. I'm glad we're on the same page on this. I'm glad Maybot's on the same page with this. The color scheme is perfect for me. Uh, see here it looks a bit better.
Yeah, and it's still like loose in certain parts of that.
Yeah, but I see now that you said the mother aspect, like if you go realistic mother making, like I can't think of a lot of mothers who are going to make like a skin tight suit for their son to be in. So like it makes sense that like if she like made a slightly bulkier thing. So that's kind of cute. The cape is perfection for me. I'm still getting used to the S, but it reminds me a lot of the Batman Beyond episode, the Justice League one, where like he gets Superman from the future S. I gotta say, Rachel Brosnahan looks perfect as Lois Lane, and also they got the classic colors from the animated series, Superman animated series. So like, dope,
Yeah,
dope.
yeah,
I'm all in for this perfection in my state, and yeah. So all this to say, the faith that I gave to James Gunn, like this right here, the daily not the
Daily
Daily
Planet.
Times, the Daily Planet image of Superman saving a truck, perfection. This is
A train, not a
I
truck.
keep saying truck, and I'm just it's a Friday. Maybe like Fridays are affecting me more,
Yeah,
but Gunn is doing the right homages, and it seems like he's capturing the right style of the Christopher Reeve style Superman. That's what I wanted, and I'm hoping that's what I'm getting.
yeah, yeah. And I just I hope that like there's also, with me, really good world building. Like I like this shot of Superman from a distance, because
Yeah.
I get tired of everything being close up, and I think like there was a shot that I saw, but it was not like a shot from the camera. It was a shot from like someone's cell phone of Superman walking into a building with Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Terrific,
Mhm.
beside him, And the angle that the person captured on their phone, the way it looked, I was like, oh, I love that. It's such a good worldly shot because it just like shows how big the buildings are and shows how big they are compared to the building. So it makes them small, but it also shows how big Superman is in the context, like with his cape and
Yeah.
everything. And I just love shots that like it would make Superman feel more real to me if it's not all close-ups. You know what I mean? Like if it's like you're seeing him do things in the environment. But yeah, overall, you know, I'm seeing good here. It looks beautiful. The colors are right. It looks like it's going to be on the hopeful side, just on the visuals so far. Of course, we don't know what the tone of the camera and the editing is going to bring, so maybe they're going to go darker or something. We don't know. But you know, the choices that have been made so far are really good. It's Terrific, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one thing I'll say that going back on that shot of what his outfit looks like is
Mm.
like it's good. It's right on point. And I gotta give it credit to the CW, even though like I re-looked at it and theirs is like technically the reverse, like the black is where the white is and the white is where the black is. I'm like, you know what? I'll give them the one credit because like they're when I saw it, it was like it looks kind of similar, kind of good compared to all other outfits. Like, but
Sorry, I'm
this
not
is
laughing
this
at
is
what you're saying.
this is on point.
I'm just laughing at what Maypot said to me. Umar has been watching too many isekai anime where the protagonist is initially hit by a truck. She's
Oh.
not wrong. But no, actually, Darcy, I will give it to you. The CW, I do credit for this because the CW, specifically the Arrowverse, I think you even said this to me earlier this week. They proved that comic accurate outfits work in live action.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Mr. Terrific is kind of going that front. I didn't see the Mr. Terrific outfit in Arrowverse, so I don't know how it compares.
It's quite similar. I would bring up photo if I had time, but it's quite similar. However, there's like a reversal of like it's like where it's like the white kind of like V or T going down the center. That's kind of more black and there's more white on the outside. But when
Got
I
it.
first saw it, without being critical, I was like, shoot, it looks almost like the CW one. And then I looked at them, I was like, oh, you know, they actually are a bit more different. This one's more accurate. But it was so close to begin with that I was like, yeah, it wasn't like standing out to me. It wasn't like it's nowhere like the was it CW did it or Fox or whatever, the Batman from Gotham, the TV show where you saw it and you're like, yo, that's like a that's like somebody cosplayed a cosplayer.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
my
was like
God.
that was like the worst costume in live action that I can think of. Is like it was like the whole head looked like that ain't Batman. That looked like they look like a guy who put bat ears on his hockey gear and went
Like in the Dark Knight.
like that dude was better.
Actually, you're right.
He was a full cosplay.
Yeah.
like if the worst part is the one from Gotham looked like he spent more money but had worse results. that's the downside. So yeah, I love when I feel like the show is so proud of their big reveal and immediately
Yeah.
it's like, the hell is that?
And everyone's just like, he's like, wait, so no one's happy?
Like,
No one's happy here?
Yeah, it's like it's like announcing like you know your promotion when you actually just got fired, right? Like it was just not good. So
Yeah. So anyway, like, I am looking forward to seeing. I cannot wait to see Mr. Terrific in action. I kind of hope he goes the route of Sister Sage from The Boys. For those of you who haven't watched season 4 of the Boys this season, my bad, that's a little bit of spoiler, but like Sister Sage is awesome, and I'm kind of hoping they do a similar style. I mean, obviously not as ominous as her, but like a similar style of showcasing the absolute genius of Mr. Terrific in James Gunn's film, The Superman. I don't feel I have to worry too much about that because he's done a pretty good job on things beforehand. So, given the amount of passion he has for this particular film, I am not like sitting here nervously waiting. I'm more just excited to see how
Yeah.
it goes.
You know what I'm curious or my thought on this is that, or that intrigues me the most, is Mr. Terrific and Superman teaming up is not an intro movie to a universe I would ever have thought of, right? And yeah, but what I think, I don't know the comics like you, Umar. Don't give me that. I
No,
can
no,
see
no.
that face.
I'm trying to see like where you're going with this.
But the one thing that I really like about this is that, like, sometimes people portray Superman as like not always being the smartest one in the room because they want to make like Batman and everybody else look smart. But Superman's clearly smart. Like him and the Flash, they can think faster than everybody else. They can learn faster than everybody else. Like literally in, what was it, like was it Matt Reeves? I think they did it in, sorry, not Matt Reeves. Christopher Reeves. And even in the one where Batman returns, or sorry, Superman Returns, I think they both demonstrated him like reading at super speed, right? And if you fundamentally can like read at super speed, right? Like how much education could you have at that age, right? Fundamentally, right? Like every school assignment was done immediately, right? So I like the idea of seeing a team up because I want to see like Mr. Terrific being really smart, and then Superman keeping up in moments where normally people wouldn't, and then like Mr. Terrific having like an interesting response, but like being surprised and elated, but then at the same time he's like, oh, it's like really smart. It's like you kept up with one of my 150th plans like really quickly, right? And then you're like, oh, we are on a different level, right? But but you're way better than everybody else, right? You know, like it's like I want to see some fun dynamic like that because it'd be good to like. I think it's really good to showcase Superman's intelligence by having a play off of somebody else being intelligent, and you know, other than him being inexperienced, maybe, you know, I don't want it to portray, to make Mr. Terrific smart, you got to make everybody else stupid. No, you got to make everybody smart.
Agreed.
And you got to make it even more interesting at how smart he is. So
no, agreed. And like Maybot is saying, like he's definitely smart. He's just not calculating.
Yeah,
I like that. That's actually a really good way of putting it because Batman has to be calculating. And I would say that Mr. Terrific's on a whole different level. Like he's just like Superman is a programmer. So Superman is an engineer. Superman is also like understanding of like theoretical physics because and also astrophysics. Like he goes out into space. He is intelligent. It's just that Mr. Terrific is on like, I'll just do it, a whole nother level.
First off, amazing reference. I love that. Second of all, you know, the way I would actually, a good way to showcase the intelligence of like, you said Batman. I'm thinking of a character for this. I don't have a character for Superman in this universe, but I have a character for Mr. Terrific. So Batman's calculation would be kind of like when Sasuke is smart, but Mr. Terrific is like
Itachi?
No, not Itachi. Actually, no. Batman would be like Itachi. Actually, no. I'm thinking about, but Mr. Terrific would be like Naruto's buddy, who Shadows.
Oh, Shikamaru. Yes.
Shikamaru. Yeah, because that's like the way it is. Like you could have like an Itachi who's really smart. I mean, Itachi might even be as smart as Shikamaru, though, in reality. But it's like Itachi is really smart in battle. Is the way to think of it. He's really he has prep time. That's why he's like Batman, and he's planned a few steps ahead of you. But Shikamaru's planned a whole lot more steps ahead of you. It's like yeah, he beat you at step 12. Because remember when he killed that dude, he's like he beat him at like step 11 or 12.
Yeah,
and then the guy's like said something, and he was like he still had 150 more steps to go. If this didn't work, it's like whoa. Okay, and that's the way to like show it, is like when you reveal a moment and you find out that you were barely scratching the surface of what this guy had, and you're like, oh shoot. So that's kind of what the energy I want to come off of this is like.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our main event. So, my cousin, he sent me a link to a Reddit post, which let me just read it out. It says, "Do you think Cyclops could beat Batman in a one-on-one?" Now, there are a lot of different ways you can like set this up. Like most people were focusing on prep time. I'm going to say, let's leave prep time out of this. But I don't want this to be a combination of, oh, is this Cyclops when he was like connected to the Phoenix Force? Is this Cyclops when he first started as like at Xavier School? All that sort of stuff. Same thing with Batman. I don't want this like when he's like sitting on the Mobius chair. I don't want this when he's like Batman year one or when he's like training. Let's say these two are in their prime. Batman got Gotham, got his gadgets, got all his stuff he has. Cyclops been all his battles, doing the whole thing. He's the leader of the X-Men, full roster, all that sort of stuff. So both of these guys, we could do a prep time versus no prep time just to keep things interesting. But just to give some a little bit of facts. So we all like Darcy, I don't think I need to explain to you anything regarding Batman in terms of his capabilities.
Sorry, who's that again?
It's fair. It's fair. He's the guy on the right with the X's all over him.
And the single eye.
Yeah.
He's not the guy called Cyclops, but he has one eye. Got it. Yeah, go on.
So since we all are very aware, Batman is he is considered for the DC universe the world's greatest detective. He is one of the best strategists in the world. He's also amongst the best inventors in the world. Not to the level to the level of Tony Stark, but like close. He's got a lot of gadgets. He's got a lot of skill. He works with the Justice League constantly, and like Superman, all those people are there. He also has faced his fair share of very big villains. Also, he's a programmer, a mechanic. He has a perfect memory, all that sort of stuff. So, like, he's also considered to be one of the best martial artists in the world as well. So, that's just a very quick run through of Batman. Cyclops, I feel, has kind of gotten a bit of a poor reputation in the last decade, and has only recently, as of like 2 months ago, gotten his comeback in the public eye. But I would say that a lot of people don't know about him in terms of his abilities. People just think that he can just shoot lasers out of his eyes. That's actually incorrect. They're not lasers.
It's a portal.
No, but it is.
I just want to mess with you.
Okay.
Go on, though.
So Cyclops is considered an alpha level mutant, which means that he is quite powerful. His only superpower or only mutant ability is that he shoots optic blasts, aka eye blasts. And these eye blasts are concussive in nature. They are basically his body absorbs ambient energy and refocuses them and charges his body, and the only way to release the concussive blast is through his eyes. Now, due to a childhood head trauma, his eyes are in a constant beaming situation.
Damn. What was that head trauma?
He fell out of a plane, and he used it.
What? That was so. I was waiting for he's playing with his brother or something, and he got hit with a golf club. Like, yeah, he fell out of a plane. You're so cavalier with that.
Well, okay. So what happened was him and his brother were both. They jumped out of a plane before it exploded. The parachute broke, and so the two of them were hurtling to the ground. So Scott's mutant ability came out at that point, and his concussive blast essentially like shot them to soften the ground so that both of them didn't die on impact.
So he learned that trick the first day.
Yes. The problem was he hit his head really hard. And as a result, his eyes were...
Yeah, so I guess he's headstrong. But yeah. Quick question in the chat by
Oh,
STV Bears. What power did his brother get?
so his brother Havoc has an interesting thing. The two of them, if they shoot their powers at each other, nothing happens to either of them. Their
Mm,
bodies actually negate each other's ability because while Scott's absorption of ambient energy focused through his eyes, Havoc absorbs, I think it's like astral energy or like celestial energy and releases it throughout his body, through his hands, through his from like his torso. So it's like that. So both of them are very concussive, powerful blasters, but they can't actually affect each other.
mm,
So
go-
so anyway, so going back to Cyclops, his visor has ruby quartz over his eyes because that's the only thing that can absorb the optic blast and causing no damage. And his visor basically has the ruby quartz like maneuvering in different formats, and so he keeps turning it in his head on his visor controls, allowing it to shoot different types of beams. And because he's trained his entire life since he was like 13 with this, he actually can shoot anything very accurately. Like they say his accuracy is like, well, his friends call it superhuman, but like it is very, very effective. Also,
I mean, he is a superhuman just to begin with. So I mean,
I know, but like also the blast can also ricochet and also push him backwards. That's what I mean. Like they're not lasers; they are actually concussive, so like they can actually cause
uh,
physical movements.
yeah. Well, I mean, in all fairness, it's not surprising his accuracy so good because all you really have to do is look at it. But I totally random, but like Avid Visual Vision Pro makes it so like they track your eyes, and so wherever you look is where you click. And he basically just got the OG Vision Pros on. That's all I'm saying. So it makes sense. You just look there, bam. That's where I'm shooting right there. Where? Right where I'm looking. Where am I looking? Where the guy's dead.
Actually, yeah, and so his concussive blasts, because of his visor, they like if he wanted to, he just opens his eyes. He could literally punch a hole through a mountain.
So, are we saying? So when the visors are on, though, is his eyes open or closed?
So his eyes are open as closed as much as he wants them to be, but if he wants to shoot anything, his eyes definitely have to be open.
So, that much I figured. But so when he's walking around and his eyes are open, and then he has to touch something on the visor to shoot everything out.
Yes. Now, some iterations have it that he's able to shoot it whenever, but at the same time, let's just say that like it can and doesn't have to. He can do it without touching it. He can do it with touching it because like if we're gonna, I don't want to limit him with having to touch it.
So that's something that always threw me off with this character. It's like, so the visors are stopping him from shooting. Then he doesn't put his hand on the visor, and then he shoots. So it's like, what is he doing? Pressing his eyes forward to like push more out. But then, if that was the fundamental case, and he takes the visor off? Then it's like, oh, he can't control anything. But why can he control with the visor on if he's not touching the visor? That part is, I'm sorry, that part always bugged me about the
I
continuity of
know.
what they say because I'm like, it
I
doesn't make
know.
any sense. It's just it's like, is there like a mind control component to the visor that's like, oh, you want to shoot now? Okay, we can shoot now. Like
Maybe it's in his glove.
that just feels stupid.
I know. I made that up. Man. I was trying to help myself out. But okay,
It's
so
like no.
some additional aspects aside from his ability, and by the way, Maybot is killing it with the like on point, laser accurate, it's so precise it can like divide zero.
Wow, I like this one. Bro doesn't even have eyelids. It's terrifying.
Oh, he does have eyelids, and she was joking, but at the same time, oh. So he is an expert pilot. He is a master tactician and strategist. I mean, he's led like dozens of missions against multiple super beings. This is not that important. He's multilingual. He's an expert in martial arts. Now that makes sense. He does like train in the danger room like literally every day. So like, let's say he's just not a weakling, or like he just all he is a optic blaster, because otherwise, like, he'd just be a fat dude who just shoots people like from afar.
Optic blaster just sounds wrong. Moving on.
Concussive blast.
That's worse.
Okay.
They're not necessarily terrible. They just sound like really bad VR names for video games. Like,
Okay. So, Darcy, in your opinion, and what you've seen in the animated series is that you've watched, if Batman and Cyclops were to fight each other with no prep time, who do you think is going to come out?
Batman.
Why?
I gotta hold it down. Tactix ain't here. If you're in the comments, fist bump. But I've had this thought right from the very beginning, though, and here's the thing. All I can keep thinking about is when Batman evades Darkseid's like laser eyes. I can't stop thinking about that.
Yeah.
Right. And okay, so like, all right, let's break this down. Okay, let's take away the eyes for a second. Okay, he doesn't have the blast. Right. Hand to hand combat. We know Batman coming out on top. Okay.
Exactly.
Because you didn't say he has super strength. Right.
No.
And on top of that, even though he an alpha mutant. Okay. Batman's an alpha male. Okay. Oh, right. I've been holding on that one for like.
I could tell you had that for a while.
When you said alpha mutant the first time, I was like, got it. Oh, so and Maybach's in the comments. She with me on this. Like, Batman doesn't need prep time for this fight. He wins. Okay. So hand to hand combat. Right? Batman's got this, okay? Yeah. Master tactician and strategist. I think Batman still got this, because the one difference between the amount of missions that they ran is that Batman goes solo, like most of them, right? And even when he got Robin with him, it's like two independent people working, right? Like he'll have him help, but a lot of Scott Summers' like strategies revolve around good use of a team. We're talking solo right now, okay? So, all right. Second of all, Batman plays in the dark, okay? Scott Summers doesn't play well in the dark, okay? He light that thing up. Okay.
I don't understand that part.
I don't know. I was trying to make a joke. I couldn't make it.
Okay. I was like,
but I was thinking about this one thought that, like, okay, if Scott Summers, like, we're not saying like it's a death battle and people are just like, you know, out to kill for no reason and it fundamentally changes their characters. Because as much as I love death battles and like I love that analysis, the one problem is that it fundamentally breaks all the characters, so it changes how people would actually act against their nature. So Batman could literally try and force the fight by trying to mess with the visor. Like, one thought I have is a batarang into the visor. One of the reasons I was asking all those questions about the use was because if he needed the use physically touch the visor to release, Batman would pick up on that and he would batarang it and break the mechanism, right? And he runs the risk of doing two things. Either he can't use it, or he takes the visor off, or like it breaks the visor in a way and it has to come off. But knowing Scott Summers' character, if they were actually in the real character, he wouldn't want to just naturally blast the hell out of everything, destroying everything indiscriminately. Oh, you
actually, he has done that.
No, I'm not saying he hasn't done that, but I'm saying he doesn't want to naturally just go around doing it all day long.
Fair.
In every fight. And so, context for the fight, like if we're in a desert, okay, but I don't think Scott Summers, every time I've seen him do it, it always feels like a last result. It feels like he's throwing a grenade or a nuke into a situation, and he feels that way about it. And he doesn't want to do it. He's doing it because it's needed, right? And I think Batman will play the line of forcing him in that behavior, forcing him to close his eyes. And then he could take advantage of that and then do something to like cover his eyes afterwards, right? Like knock him out, and in the process of knocking him out, try to like cover his eyes with some type of gadget or some type of material in the environment. I could see him playing a strategy like that, because once Scott Summers is trying to like not cause mass damage, Batman has the upper hand of controlling the fight, because now he has to rely on less senses. But and I
Okay.
just feel like Batman will just keep evading that regular blast as much as possible. And the second he sees, okay, this is what I'm fighting, right? He would start playing the shadows game. He would start playing evade and go with silent, and make it really hard for Cyclops to fight against him, because Cyclops has range. But once Batman can close that range, it changes the fight. So
Yeah.
I think that's how it would play. And I'm not saying Scott's not good. I'm just saying Batman's going to outsmart the situation. And that's how I feel about it.
I will say that okay. Currently, I don't think anyone's on Cyclops' side in this discussion, but
Oh, and Maybot jumping in with another point here. According to the earlier conversation, all Batman has to do is restrict Cyclops' hands. Man can't touch his visor. Done. And he can't, unless Umar's right about this glove business.
even then, if you break his hand, he can't like use it. But okay, I will say that with no prep time, Scott's not making out of this fight, because
I thought you were so gonna try to tell me I'm wrong.
nah, bro, nah. Like
And
Scott,
you're like-
I will say Scott. Like I think the one thing people think is like throw a batarang at him, it's done. Scott has lived his entire life shooting things that can be thrown at him at a multiple point. Batarang's not going to do it. However, if you do something to like, if Batman will be able to like ascertain very quickly, okay, this guy's ability is a certain way. He'll be able to ascertain that it's not laser, it's concussive. So therefore, using grenade batarangs actually would work in his favor, because the explosion will actually knock things out of us, like will physically force Scott backwards. And yes, I don't think either Scott or Bruce want to cause large scale destruction. So neither of them is going to go like Scott's not going to try to drop a building on on Batman. However, I think Scott won't go down easily.
Oh, no, not saying that. Not saying that.
Agreed. But Bruce is going to, like, Bruce, like you said, like he is able to, like in some iterations, has been able to dodge the undodgeable Omega beams from Darkseid. He has dodged Superman's heat vision. Batman has taken on significantly more powerful people than Cyclops, and has been fast enough and reactive enough and also smart enough. He, in his prime, he has a lot of experience, and Maybot was talking about this in like the Batman needs in his prime, he has already defeated enemies with Cyclops' power set. So in his prime, he already knows what it will take to succeed. I completely agree with that statement. So ultimately, personally, I feel Cyclops is not going to win this, because even if the optic blasts are taken out eventually, or if Scott decides to go full blast and like release everything, Bruce has enough like he will be able to see if Scott decides to like just open his eyes. He'll just batarang his shit out of that situation. Now, he probably will get hit by concussive abilities, but he'll, like, for one thing people have forgotten, Batman uses like gases on people. No concussive blasts are going to take that out of the way. So all of this to say is, I believe with no prep time, Batman's got this down. If we're going to give them prep time, Scott's not coming out of this alive either.
I mean, that's not be no death battle. I don't agree we have to call it a death battle, but yeah, I'm like, would prep time give Scott a better advantage in the situation? I'm not saying winning. I'm saying a better advantage, because he is a planner, but I look at him like a military person, not as
Yeah.
like not the way Batman comes into a fight. And I feel like there was a comment that Maybot put in here. Where was it? Where was it? Oh yeah. So she said Batman would utilize his knowledge of Havoc to neutralize Cyclops' power. Now, without prep time, I wouldn't expect him to have that knowledge. But with prep time, I 100% expect him to have that knowledge because the man's going to know how he got the visor in the first place, right? Like so with that
Elliot was talking about a ruby quartz suit.
There you go. Right? Like the man would show up with something to reflect and he'd be ready for that big blast, right?
Yeah.
Like he'd be able to that cape would be coming in completely set up to be a shield, right? It'd be like it looked like a normal cape, but it ain't the normal cape. It's a different cape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just how it's gonna be. And so yeah, I don't see Scott, winning in any capacity here.
I honestly think it would be a dope fight. Like, okay, if writers actually cared about both characters and came together and actually like wrote a fight sequence for this, I agree with Maybot. This would be a cool fight to watch.
Yeah.
And also, like, let's say hypothetically speaking, that like the Justice League versus the X-Men, Scott goes against Batman, and everyone else is going against each other. Like, Rogue takes on Superman, and actually, who the hell is going to take on Wonder Woman? Colossus? Anyway, sorry, I went somewhere. But like, if Batman and Cyclops square off, both with prep time or without prep time, it's going to be a dope ass fight. I think with prep time, Batman's going to demolish Scott because Scott doesn't have the resources that. Hold up. Yeah, Scott does have resources. I would say some say even more advanced than Batman because he has Shi'ar technology.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that, but I just don't think he's a better fighter.
I don't think so either. Like he's a good strategist, but like I like what you said. Like he's more like a very accomplished, effective general. He has led his troops into battle in space, and against other people. Batman's done like that, if equal to that.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Elliot had put an amazing comment in the chat. How is Tactix missing a Batman episode?
My man's got work.
He's in the shadows. That's what it is.
Yes.
But yeah, all good. I had to throw that out there. Now, I'm gonna throw a curveball because I don't know why, but this popped into my head. You know who would be a really interesting fight? Really interesting. And this is because I'm also taking the idea where everyone always wants to compare kind of more equal things like comics. But I have a character who's not in a comic who I think would be interesting. Batman versus Master Chief from Halo.
Okay, I'm going to admit my utter and complete lack of knowledge regarding Master Chief because I don't know him.
Well, that might be for a future episode, but let me just kind of paint a little bit of the picture. So Master Chief, and I'm talking with the armor, right? Like stacked 7 foot something, modified body, kind of like I forget exactly what they did with the body, but I can't remember if they put like metal in it, kind of like Wolverine, but they've extended the length of the body so they're all like super tall. They have ridiculously strong for humans, to the point that like in their suits especially, they can easily lift like basically a tank. They can jump like off of super high structures, take massive beatings, and they also don't feel pain, and they don't feel emotion, and they're highly tactical, and they're highly intelligent, and it would be a very interesting battle, even without the suit, because they're still extremely strong. Like the ability to like punch into metal and like put dents in it and stuff like that. Or like lift like one arm, like a barbell with like multiple weights on it kind of deal. So really like interesting. So I'm gonna put that up for a future thing because I think, good question. Chief with Cortana or without? I'm gonna say without, just to kind of put it more like Cortana is like an AI, so it gives him like an extra advantage.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right.
So
Like, you
kind
know,
of like a Jarvis from like the MCU.
yeah, exactly. Like if you want to go like Jarvis and Iron Man and Master Chief and Cortana, cool. But like, I mean, or Batman with what's her name, in the Watchtower.
Oh, Oracle.
Yeah, like Oracle being there constantly in his ear, then like yeah, we could put it up like that. But I wouldn't go like with you have a second set of eyes and then the other one doesn't have a second set of eyes. I think that's unfair.
Is this
But
prep time?
ooh, good question. Sure, because they're both good with prep time.
Yeah, because like Batman has like suits that he has used to like fight Superman and also Darkseid and also Mr. Freeze. And so like he's got suits that he can like bring into this fight with the Master Chief.
Yeah. Ooh, Maybot says basically, yeah, it'd be a brawl for sure, a fight of attrition. Yeah, I like that. I like there's some clips. So like there's a clip of Master Chief from the video game where he they have like they got like this big bomb from the enemy and then they had it on their ship and he goes, so they're in space. Think of like, for your context, Star Wars, right, where you have like the big cruisers at a
Yeah.
big distance and a big battle, and he goes to his like his like chief above him or general, and he's like, permission to return like their nuke, and he's like, permission granted. He opens the hangar, jumps on the bomb, and literally pushes it out of the ship and then rides it towards their thing. Like, it's not being powered. He's literally steering it through space, and then when it gets close enough to their ship, leaps off of it and like just floats back into space and sends their nuke directly into them. And it's one of the most badass things ever. It's like permission to like return their bomb. It's like permission granted, and then just like goes solo. And I'm like, and he's ridiculously good in a fight. Like,
Right.
he's like Batman. He's constantly like being able to play, analyze, be highly neutral in his mindset because he's non-emotional. Anyways, it's just like I don't want to like say like who's the winner right now, but this has got me hyped and I had to throw it out there because Umar, you need to look up a little bit of Master Chief because it will get you hyped to think about it. Trust me.
I definitely will reach out to that. But like something you said kind of made me go down back to our matchup for today.
Let's do it.
So Cyclops has taken on Wolverine multiple times. And more often than not, he's fucked up Wolverine. That's making me wonder, because you were talking about like how Master Chief like just jumps on stuff and like things blow up, or like, and he's able to like like Wolverine can punch, like cut through everything. Master Chief apparently can punch through like some very impressive things. If Wolverine can lose more often than not, or at least be like on somewhat equal footing fighting wise with Cyclops, does that change your opinion on Batman versus Cyclops?
Nah, because Wolverine is the smartest fighter. Wolverine's the guy who literally like just jumps head first into a fight and then gets hit in the face. Like I like him. He's a good fighter, but partly because he doesn't die, he's got a death wish. So he just fights.
He knows he can't die. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That's true.
And he partly also, I think he's always had a death wish because I forget his origin story when he was a kid or whatever, but he went through some like bad stuff, and so I think he's partly
always
like
gone through some bad stuff.
So I think it's like he probably because I remember there was like some depiction in one of the movies or something of like showing him as a child, and I can't remember what the exact story was, but I'm left with the red.
I can tell you.
Let's do it right now. Do it right now.
So he was born in the 1800s to a wealthy family in Alberta. He was a sickly child who literally couldn't fight anything off. His father was his father turns out potentially may not have actually been his father, or was his father, and his mother had an affair with the groundskeeper. The groundskeeper had his own son. They came in one night and blew the dad away. and the wife was like, "What the fuck do you do?" And then like that's when Wolverine's mutant ability came in. Bone Claws came out. He killed his potential actual father, and then also he slashed his half brother's face across, and then his nurse turned out to be his friend, and they ran off into the wilderness. And then she eventually died accidentally by being, while he was fighting a guy that she was in love with because he was in love with her, he accidentally stabbed her with his claw when she got involved. And then Weapon X happened a couple of decades later.
Yeah, I feel like there was another iteration I saw, like not like a true story, but like someone like doing like a version. But anyways, regardless of that, to the point, it's like he always fights like he's got a death wish. Not only like willing to die because he doesn't, but like almost like he wants to, and he
Like he
knows
doesn't
can't.
care.
Yeah, but it's doesn't care, and is like testing it, right? Like, will this time be the time, right? And so it's like he'll push to that point, and then it never is, and so he's also so tormented by the fact that he can't, so he just fights like that. And so it's like, yeah, he gets whooped by Cyclops because he's also like Wolverine, Batman, not a comparison, okay? Like that, what do you want to compare them on? They have muscle. Like they're both really
exceptional good fighters. Like Wolverine, like, but I will say that Maybot kind of hit the nail on the head here, because like Batman is a martial artist and also an acrobat and also an athlete. Wolverine is a brawler who has a great deal of training
or experience.
No, both. He's been trained quite well.
I know, but like even without training, if the guy fought like hundreds of years worth of fights and losing, it's just you call it training through loss. It's just like through attrition of how many times can you screw up before you get good?
Yeah, exactly. So Wolverine is very dangerous and very capable, and has his own like pluses or minuses. But the reason why, like, I agree with you. Wolverine is not a good comparison to Batman. It's just that I think that a lot of people would bring that up because people are like, well, if you beat Wolverine, I'm like, yeah, but Wolverine fights differently. Like you said, I call it like he fights like he knows he can take the hit because he can. Batman knows he can't and has trained himself to avoid.
Yeah, and when he does, he knows he knows like how to like maneuver it to take the best hit he can take, right? So at least against this guy, he knows he can take a hit for sure, but it depends who's fighting. So
exactly. So yeah, I think aside from my cousin who came in with saying that it's Cyclops, but I think he thinks that Cyclops is more emotionally and mentally capable than Batman, because I mean, like, Batman is a traumatized individual, and Cyclops is just I would say Cyclops is actually pretty put together, because his wife and his girlfriend after his wife all are telepaths. My man has to have his brain in order.
So just to recap what you just said, just so you hear how it sounds. So he's like, yeah, he's got his stuff together. So his wife after his girlfriend after
his wife, and then his wife. after his girlfriend. So basically when he got divorced, or technically when he became a widower.
Yeah. Sounds like a man with everything together.
No one's going to get into his brain.
Or that's all they're doing. maybe it's like when you run the app in your computer to clean up all the garbage every night. Like the girlfriend just out here like cleaning up his mind every single day, putting him back together for the next one. I don't know. It's like, is that the way you state it? It's like, yeah, this guy's more stable, and then you described things that sounded unstable, like immediately after.
People get divorces. It happens.
Oh, I know that. It was just the way you, like, his girlfriend after his wife, like, they both telepaths, right? So he's good. He's good.
Mental fortitude, let's just say.
At least he's not dating a cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, cat, woman, Batman.
No, I know. I was trying to remember, were there any cat, like, there, I'm just trying to think, were there any cat type characters in the Marvel X-Men universe. Nah. It's Sabretooth. Then that's not something you want to get on. Apparently, Mystique did.
TMI.
They had a kid together.
TMI.
A human kid.
Okay, I don't care.
He might be he could be something big in the next season of X-Men 97.
I'll care then.
I'll wait until Beau DeMaio or whoever took over Beau DeMaio makes me care about Mystique and Sabretooth.
Yep, exactly. 100%. It's 100%.
Maybot says mental health versus mental health. I'm going to have to say, if we're going to compare the two, I think Scott wins mental health in the fight. Sorry, correction. She said mental health versus mental health with Batman versus Wolverine.
Batman. Still Batman.
Yeah, because he still remembers everything while Wolverine is so traumatized he actually his mind has literally forgotten everything.
Yeah, and also Batman has taken that trauma and rationalized into a very specific way of utilizing it, so he's very consciously aware and he specifically controls his emotions. It's not perfect, but it's not lashing out on everything. Wolverine
I would say they both equally lash out on just about as many things as they can get their hands on.
Yeah, I know. Just Wolverine feels way more unstable.
Oh no, Wolverine's definitely more unstable. Wolverine kills people like in the hundreds, and also his mind is so traumatized from everything that's happened, he can't remember.
Yeah.
I would say child trauma would go to Wolverine.
I don't even want to do that comparison. That's just a dangerous realm of things. Like, I'm not a believer in comparing pain and seeing which one's worse, because everyone's pain is relative to themselves. So
that's true. I don't think a single therapist would be saying, let's compare the traumas and see which one wins out. So yes, let's just say that the two of them have had profound childhoods. Actually, both of them were rich, but Bruce was never sickly.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. But like Wolverine definitely has aged significantly more. So anyway, so ultimately, as many people were involved in this discussion and also between the two of us, I think we have sufficiently been able to prove that Batman would win in both a non-prep time and a prep time situation.
And if you disagree, you can just tell us in the comments where we're not live and we won't care.
We will care. We just will not respond.
Umar will care. I will go on about my day.
Well, anyway, so that I think is a sufficient point for us to, for me to volley it back to you, Darcy, for our closing remarks.
Yeah, this has been another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. If you like this, or even if you didn't like this, still hit one of those buttons, whichever one you find. Leave a comment, whichever way you want. If you get your comments too incorrect, it may end up getting removed. Who knows? But for the rest of them, we'll keep them because that's good engagement. I'm just Darcy, and
this is Big Geek Umar. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you for all the comments and contributions to our discussion. And please, if you have any suggestions on other things that we should be discussing in the future, just like Darcy's request for Batman versus Master Chief, we are very open to discussions and topics, and we would love to have them. So live long and prosper, y'all. Happy long weekend if you live in Canada, and see you next week.
That glove suggestion was weak, man.
What?
Cyclops using his glove?
I